Did Christian Parker just make the perfect first move as Cowboys defensive coordinator? His first coaching staff hire is in, and the resume is turning heads across the league. Some fans see this as proof Parker knows exactly what he's doing and is building a modern, aggressive staff from day one. Others are pumping the brakes, wondering if a strong resume always translates to results in Dallas. Who is this hire, and why does it matter so much right now? One detail from the coach's background hints this move could have a bigger impact on the Cowboys defense than anyone expected. Cowboys Nation, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got some big news coming out of Dallas that could quietly end up being one of the most important moves of the entire offseason. This isn't a flashy trade, this isn't a blockbuster free agent signing, but make no mistake about it, this is the kind of move that actually changes organizations from the inside out. Christian Parker has officially made his first coaching staff hire, and when you look at the resume, when you look at the experience, and when you look at what this hire signals about the future of the Dallas Cowboys, you start to realize something very important is happening behind the scenes in Frisco. Now, before we even get into the name, before we talk about where this coach comes from or what role he's stepping into, we need to understand why this moment matters so much. Christian Parker is not just another assistant coach. This is a guy the Cowboys are clearly grooming for long-term leadership on the defensive side of the ball. The front office didn't just hand him influence for no reason. They believe in his vision, his football IQ, and his ability to modernize the Cowboys' defensive approach. And the very first hire a coach makes usually tells you everything you need to know about what kind of culture, philosophy, and priorities he's bringing with him. And Cowboys fans, this hire screams accountability, player development, and adaptability. From the moment the news broke, people around the league started paying attention. Because when you look at the resume, it's not padded, it's not hype-based, and it's not one of those friends of a friend type hires. This is football experience. This is real development. This is someone who has worked with elite talent, young talent, veterans, and rebuilding units. And most importantly, this is someone who understands how today's NFL offenses are evolving, and how defenses need to adjust to survive. Let's talk about Christian Parker for a second. Parker has built a reputation as a detail-obsessed coach. He's not loud for attention. He's not a quote machine. He's a teacher. And that matters. The Cowboys defense has had elite talent over the past few seasons, but one of the biggest criticisms has been inconsistency. One week they look unstoppable, the next week they struggle with communication, gap discipline, or situational football. That's not always a talent problem. That's often a coaching problem. And Parker understands that better than most. So when Parker made this first hire, it wasn't about splash. It was about foundation. This coach comes in with years of experience working specifically with defensive backs and hybrid defenders, which should immediately get Cowboys fans excited. Because let's be honest, the Cowboys defense is built around speed, versatility, and playmaking on the back end. Micah Parsons gets the headlines, and rightfully so, but games are won and lost in coverage, in communication, and in how well defensive backs read offenses before the snap. This hire has worked in systems that prioritize disguise. Systems that confuse quarterbacks. Systems that don't just react, but attack mentally. And that's exactly where the Cowboys need to go next. Because elite quarterbacks in the playoffs don't get fooled by basic coverages. They destroy predictable defenses. And that's where Dallas has fallen short in recent years. This coach has experience coaching at both the college and NFL levels, which is huge. That means he understands player development from the ground up, but also knows how to manage professional egos, locker room dynamics, and the weekly grind of the NFL. He's worked with Pro Bowl level talent. He's developed late-round picks into starters. He's taken young, raw players and turned them into disciplined defenders who understand leverage, spacing, and timing. And here's the key part that Cowboys fans should really focus on. He has a history of improving units year over year. Not just maintaining them. Improving them. That's something Dallas desperately needs. Because the Cowboys defense hasn't lacked talent. It's lacked evolution. Offenses figured them out. Pre-snap motion gave them trouble. Crossing routes exposed communication issues. And instead of adjusting fast enough, Dallas kept leaning on raw talent to win matchups. That works in September. It doesn't work in January. This hire tells us Christian Parker knows that. It also tells us something else that's very important. The Cowboys are shifting toward a more collaborative defensive structure. This isn't one voice dominating the room. This is multiple experienced minds working together, challenging each other, and adapting week to week. That's how the best defenses in the NFL operate. Look at teams like the Ravens, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. They evolve. They don't stay static. And now Dallas is clearly trying to do the same. Another thing that stands out about this hire is the emphasis on teaching fundamentals. We're talking footwork, hand placement, eye discipline, and situational awareness. Those sound boring, but that's how games are won. That's how you stop third and long. That's how you close out games in the fourth quarter. And that's how you stop giving up back-breaking plays at the worst possible moments. If you've watched Cowboys games over the past few seasons, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The blown coverages. The late rotations. The defenders pointing at each other after a big gain. That stuff isn't about effort. It's about preparation. This hire is about fixing that. Now let's talk about what this means for the players currently on the roster. Because this is where things get really interesting. For the young defensive backs, this is massive. Guys who are still figuring out the speed of the NFL, still learning how to watch film effectively, still understanding route combinations and offensive tendencies. They're about to get coached hard. But they're also about to get clarity. Clear roles. Clear expectations. Clear techniques. And that's how confidence is built. For the veterans, this is a challenge. A good one, but a challenge. Because experienced coaches don't just let veterans coast on reputation. They demand precision. They demand leadership. And they demand accountability. If you miss an assignment, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the league. You're going to hear about it. That's a culture shift. And let's be real for a second. The Cowboys locker room needs that. Not in a negative way, but in a focused, professional way. Championship teams don't let details slide. They don't let mistakes repeat themselves. And they don't rely on talent alone. This hire also says a lot about how the Cowboys view the future of their defense. They're not just building for the season. They're building a system that can survive roster changes, injuries, and scheme adjustments. That's why hiring the right teachers matters more than hiring the loudest personalities. Christian Parker understands that, and this hire proves it. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this move fits into a larger pattern we're seeing from the Cowboys this offseason. There's been a quiet shift toward long-term planning. Less reactionary moves. Less panic. More structure. More intentionality. And that's something fans have been begging for. Instead of chasing headlines, Dallas is investing in infrastructure. Coaching. Development. Scheme. That doesn't trend on social media the same way a trade rumor does, but it wins games. And here's something else that shouldn't be overlooked. Around the league, people know who this coach is. This wasn't a nobody hire. This was someone other teams were aware of. Someone with a reputation. And when the Cowboys land someone like that, it means they sold him on the vision. That matters. Coaches don't leave stable situations unless they believe in what's being built. So what does this mean for the 2026 season and beyond? It means the Cowboys defense is going to look different. More flexible. More unpredictable. More disciplined. You're going to see more disguise pre-snap. More communication adjustments. More defenders playing fast because they know exactly what they're supposed to do. And that's when talent truly shines. Micah Parsons becomes even more dangerous when the coverage behind him holds up. The pass rush becomes more effective when quarterbacks hesitate. And turnovers happen when defenders are in the right position, reading the quarterback instead of chasing the receiver. This hire helps all of that. It also sends a message to the rest of the coaching staff. Standards are rising. Expectations are rising. And complacency is not welcome. That's how winning cultures are built. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Christian Parker's first coaching staff hire? Do you think this is the kind of move that actually fixes the Cowboys' defensive inconsistencies? Or do you think Dallas still needs more changes before they can truly compete with the elite teams in the playoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get the discussion going, because this move might not be flashy, but it could end up being one of the most important decisions the Cowboys make this offseason. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for daily Cowboys updates, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any breaking news. We're covering everything from coaching changes to draft rumors to insider updates all off-season long. Cowboys Nation, big things are happening in Dallas. Stay locked in. We'll see you in the next one.